iPhone.
This one?
There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
So if you can move a little bit on the left, so you fit on the screen, that'll be perfect.
Better?
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
You ready to go?
Yeah, buddy.
Finally, after like
I
6 hours waiting. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know. I know. I know. I'm way better at breeding
Yeah.
snakes than
Ah,
Skyping
it's
or
fine. Yeah.
technology.
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. How's everything with you?
It's good,
Family
man.
good?
Just keeping busy and, just got home from work
Mm-hmm.
this morning and so I got a
Okay.
few days off and hanging out with family and, taking care of some snakes and stuff and so, just keeping busy.
Right.
Yeah, how about
Yeah, and
yourself?
taking care of the snakes never stop, right? There's always something,
No,
right?
I mean they're pretty low maintenance, but when you got a pretty decent sized
Of course.
collection, it's it's just work.
Yeah. Well, typically, once everything kind of like goes in motion, right? There's always something like you're always gonna have to clean.
Oh yeah,
There's always
for
gonna be
sure.
like breedings or like feedings or like
Yep.
buying supplies. It's like never ends.
Yeah.
There's never like a day that like I go to the facilities and like nothing needs to be done. It's always
Oh, for
something.
sure. Yeah, it's watering, cleaning, spot cleaning,
Right.
pairing, whatever. I mean, shipping out animals, whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's always something to be done. You know,
Right. How
it's always
was
fun.
Anaheim? I'm sorry to cut you
Um,
off, but how was
I
Anaheim? Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a big
Mhm.
venue. I thought it was. I like the venue itself. It seemed like a few of the visitors were complaining about parking and stuff like that. Not
Yeah.
being like it's such a busy venue with. I mean, there was a volleyball tournament going on and
Yeah.
gymnastics tournament and a Herbalife thing, and I mean, we weren't the only show in town, And but I think it went well. Like Rami usually does a really good job of putting on a show and advertising it well. So I think there was a crowd. It was just I think some people were burnt out just by the traffic and stuff like that. So we didn't have to
Yeah.
deal with it as vendors, so much. We just had to, I heard about it from a bunch of customers and visitors and stuff.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I don't think
but
people really understand that there's like so many things going on behind the screen,
oh
because
yeah,
some people only see the show, right? And then they
yeah,
they, they go there, and if they don't like it, they're just gonna complain, right?
yeah, yeah.
There's
I mean,
so much work, went into the. Huh? Go
yeah,
ahead.
and it's there was a lot, and like I said, it wasn't the only gig going on either. There was a whole bunch of other shows going. So I mean, besides
Yeah.
the reptile show, I mean that was one we were there for, obviously, but there was a lot going on in that area. So
Yeah, one thing that if I could kind of like add, not complaining, but maybe next time not to have the event right after New Year. It's like really close to New Year's, like like at the same
yeah,
week,
yeah,
because I know there's like so many people like out of town, including myself.
yeah.
So
Maybe
if
maybe
we could,
second weekend or something. You know
yes, that would be
that might
perfect.
be
Yeah,
a good thought. That'd be a little bit of spacing. I think it's tough though because I mean you got those people who are still on vacation. The kids are all on vacation still, so it is kind of that,
yeah.
that tough spot. Like I know my kids went back to school on Monday right after,
Oh,
and
yeah,
so you kind of catch that. If it's on a weekend, it's usually okay, but you might have some of those out of towners who were here for Disneyland and a reptile show and this
right.
out here for the holidays. Maybe they went up to Pasadena and caught the Rose Parade. Who knows? They just kind of.
Mm,
But I don't think anything ever goes exactly the way perfect. There's always something that can be improved, and
right.
it is what it is, man. We go to have a
Yeah.
good time, and we do well. And we have fun, and we make it a little family affair. So I enjoy that.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
When was your very first show? Like, like when you start fending and then, like display your
Yeah.
animals. Like, when was it? Do you remember?
2013, I think it was 2013,
Okay.
maybe. I can't remember exactly the first one. It's weird. I thought I'd remember that one, but I started
Uh-huh.
breeding in 2011, and I think it was the first
Okay.
couple of years that I was like, I'm not ready for this yet. And then I started. I think it was maybe it might have been late 2012, like the end of
Okay.
2012, but it might have been
Okay.
2013. I think it's probably
Okay.
more accurate. Yeah, I enjoy
Okay.
it, but I only do a few a year. I do um, at least two, generally maybe three a show, three a year. I mean, so
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
do. I'm not traveling and going all over to do multiple shows and doing all that. Just a couple keeps it fun. Move some animals, meet some people.
Right.
We have a good time.
So you mostly focus on these local shows, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Luckily we have Super Show, and even if it's in Pomona or Anaheim, if it's Anaheim, it was 20 minutes from my house. If it's Pomona, it's 45 minutes, whatever,
Okay. So that's
without the
not really that
traffic.
bad. Yeah.
So that's not
Right.
it's not tough. That's a good, easy one. And we usually try to hit stay at one of the hotels, like maybe that Saturday night, so we can go hang out and socialize with some of the other vendors and friends and stuff that we only see at the shows. And
Right.
so we've been doing that the last few years, especially with a family. It's a lot easier. When I was, you know, single guy, I just drive back home because it was easy. But I
Yeah.
do that one,
It's
and
really
then I do
tough.
a Repticon in Costa Mesa. Usually
Yeah.
it's either October or November, and
Yeah.
we usually do that one. That's 20 minutes from the house too. So it just,
Okay.
it's in my back door, and you can't pass those ones up. So
Right. Yeah. Are you going to the one in San Diego? I think this coming
um, if
July
it's
or
in
something. Yeah.
July, it's in
Yeah.
July. I looked. I probably not to vend. Usually I don't vend that show just because it's logistically,
Too
it's
small.
obviously it's quite a bit further, and I'd have to get a hotel for all the nights. So I really
Yeah.
I'd have to have a pretty, make a few sales to break even and make it,
Mm. Yeah.
worth it. That's a show that I usually like to just go and be a guest, be a visitor,
Yeah.
and go and talk
Right.
to the people that I see at the shows. So
Yeah,
it
and
makes
there's
it fun.
another thing too that like people don't understand going to the show like funding. There's a lot of work as well.
It
So
is, yeah. I've got a
sometimes. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we've got a good group. I've been with a few guys that
Yeah,
we've talked to
Adams.
Adam
Yeah, John.
recently, and
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan and Robert. So we got a
Robert.
good
Yeah,
crew that get together, and we all go and have a good time. Our
yeah.
setup is quick. It's usually really
Mm-hmm.
a clean setup, looks really nice, and
Yeah.
I think we've got a pretty good little system working together.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then we got the families that come out on the show days, and I've got the kids hanging
Right.
out in the fort underneath the table, and
Mm.
it's all family affair and fun
Yeah.
times for us. But it is a lot. It's quite a bit of work to do them, but I think we got
Mm-hmm.
a pretty good system on how we do it and keep it nice. And
Yeah.
I
Really
don't think
simple.
I
Uh-huh.
don't think we put it out to. I don't think it goes out to the people that it is a lot of work. I think we make it look easier than you know.
Yeah.
I don't want that to translate over. I don't want that. I want people to just come and have a good time and not
Of
think of all
course.
the things that we're going through.
Of course. Of
Standing at the
course.
booth all
Yeah.
day and not going to the bathroom. Like when I was only vending by myself, I would never
Mm-hmm.
leave the booth, man. I was
Wow.
notorious for
Yeah.
not eating or drinking during the booth. Just staying at the booth because I always
Yeah.
hated coming up to a booth as a guest and not
And
have
there's like no
the.
one there.
Yeah, I hate it. And we
Mm.
engage everybody. Like anybody who
Yeah.
walks up is, hello, how you doing? Can I help? Anything, any
Mm-hmm.
questions? We're very good about engaging everybody,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yeah.
from a guest standpoint. That those are things that I
Mm-hmm.
can't stand when people don't do it.
Yeah.
And sit in the
Yeah.
back, and unless you got money flashing, they don't come up from the back. It's like I
Yes.
don't appreciate
Yeah.
that. I don't want people to have that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, because like majority of the people, they always go to like big breeders, right? The one that like really famous people that they know. So
Yeah,
sometimes like every single time, I always try to like tell people go to all of these, like everybody, like especially these mom and pops because they put a lot of work as well. So don't just go
yeah,
to like famous people and take a
right.
picture and then spend the time there.
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
famous booths. I mean, I we get a pretty good following. We get a pretty good group around us. For the
yeah,
shows, and
yeah.
we're not famous by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But those famous booths, man, that you can't even get near the table half the time unless you really weasel your way in, and then you get a
Yeah,
picture, and then you're pushed out to get to the next one. So,
yeah.
um,
I
you know,
mean, like I completely understand. Like, they maybe saw them on YouTube and then they want to see them in person. I get it, but
oh yeah,
when it comes to like building up your network, right? Your
hmm,
friends, in these hobbies, you should go to everybody.
oh
So
for
don't
sure,
just picked up and focus on all of these like famous one because
yeah,
one thing that not many people understand is these mom and pops or these like regular breeders, they remember you, but those famous
oh
one might
yeah,
not.
yeah, absolutely, and
So yeah.
when I first got into ball pythons, the first
Yeah.
couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had no intention of breeding. I was that guy who bought a snake and then had to go buy a
Yeah.
tank for it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't,
Yeah.
my girlfriend at the time was like, "Oh, this is a pretty snake," we got it. It was like a spur of the moment. We just went,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
it's something to do, and
Yeah.
like from the moment I was like, this might be cool to breed, because I got a second
Mm-hmm.
one like 6 months later. Once I had that thought, and I did
Mm-hmm.
2 years of just researching and literally talking to everybody that would talk to me, and it
Yeah.
wasn't everybody. Everyone wasn't willing to just chit chat and give
Huh.
advice and tips and tricks and this
Yeah.
and that. But, and I
Mm-hmm.
talked to a bunch of people, and I learned from people who were good, and I learned
Mm-hmm.
from people who were jerks, and not good about
Right.
engaging with the customer, or
Yeah.
just so I developed my own style based off of
Of
that.
course.
But yeah, exactly, if you go to those maybe the smaller booths where people they're just passionate about the animals,
Yeah.
maybe they're not, some of the big names, or they're just doing show after show after show. They get burnt out, and
Yeah.
they sometimes those are the ones that a lot of times, unless you got money out of their pocket, they're not coming up to you,
That's
or
very
you're
true.
you're a
Yeah.
known buyer, something like that. Like, those
Yeah.
people engage the money man, and it's not cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of which, how did you get started? Like, how did you, decide? Like, okay, I know you just mentioned earlier that you started, like getting this ball python as a pet, right? But
Hmm.
when is that, like typical point that you decide, okay, I want to focus on this, and then let me see if I can, like breed this thing or make it as a collection or like hobby or things like that.
Yeah,
When
so
was that?
I
Yeah, started.
so 2008, I got my first ball python just at a
Okay.
NERBC show in Anaheim,
Okay.
just on a whim, like I said. And
Mhm.
about 6 months later, I was kind of like just online, and reading up on them, and how do I make sure that
King
temperatures are
snake.
right. Because all the questions that I didn't know, yeah, well, all the
Right.
questions I didn't know to ask as a newbie, like the guy could have told.
Mhm.
I bought a pastel yellow belly male,
Yeah.
and he could have told me it was het for rainbow sprinkles, and I'd be like, oh, cool. What kind of size? What size? Literally, it was like, what size tank does this thing need? And
Right.
you know, from there, I went home and kind of started doing some research, and I started
Mhm.
seeing pictures on like World of Ball Python, and then
Mm.
I went and I bought a pinstripe female, and
Okay.
I saw, like, at the time, was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, was a lemon blast, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, I can make that. And so I
Yeah.
thought this would be kind of cool to try. And then
Mhm.
from that point on, like, once I had the idea of it would be cool to try, it was a solid
Mhm.
2 years of just asking every breeder I could talk to,
Mhm.
literally any reptile owner, shop owner, anything,
Mhm.
YouTube videos. I mean, like Brian Gundy videos, Snake Fight
Yeah.
TV videos, bar check
Yeah.
videos. Um, I mean, geez, all the old school guys, Mike Wilbanks and
Yeah.
all these guys. I watched all these YouTube videos, and I was just like
Mm-hmm.
on all the time. And then it just kind of was like, okay, I've got now I've got a couple males, and now I got one female. Like she's a baby. And I'm like, well, so I bought a couple adult, proven breeder, like just normals, and
Yeah.
tried my hand at it. I got, I paired 5 females the very first year, and I got 4 clutches.
Mm-hmm.
My first clutch being 12 eggs. Hi. Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Baby just walked in and she just had dinner. She is covered. um, but so yeah, my first clutch was from a pastel yellow belly male to a normal female. I got 12 eggs
Okay.
and not a single
Mm-hmm.
normal. And it was
Oh,
like
wow.
I
Yeah.
was hooked, man.
Right.
100% hooked. And I thought it was the coolest thing. I saw start to finish pairing and I built my incubator, all that stuff, and I was hooked. It was 100%. I had
Mm-hmm.
33 babies the very first season. 4
Okay.
clutches and 33 babies, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I've done it ever since, and I've just gradually increased the number of animals. Obviously,
Yeah.
a big focus on what was initially in my price range in the beginning has
Mm-hmm.
changed a little bit through time.
Yeah.
And so then certain projects I had in the beginning have kind of changed a little bit and moved up to a little bit more expensive ones, but
Yeah.
just slowly and gradually just getting immersed in it. It's been awesome.
Yeah. It's really hard to explain it to people that that sensation when you get your very first clutch.
Oh yeah.
Because I've heard the same story, like from everybody, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna have like one ball python. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, right.
sure. Wait until you get your first clutch. You
Yeah.
just get hooked, and then it's never stop from there.
No, it's
Because yeah, it's really hard to explain it. Like that feeling when you cut the eggs, especially when you hit the odd.
oh
It's
yeah.
really hard to explain it unless you experience, like yourself, like personally.
Yeah.
Otherwise it would be hard to explain it. Yeah.
No, I
So.
100% agree. And it's funny
Mhm.
because like it's been since 2011. I don't know how many clutch I've had. I've the last few years have been like 16 to 18 clutches, and
Yeah.
each year. And so I've had several, and there's not one that doesn't excite me anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
every one, I've got some potential for some really cool stuff. And it
Yeah.
never gets old, man. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And now the
Yeah.
family's in on it, and I get my
Yeah.
wife and my daughters on it, and it's just
Right.
we all have a good time. And I let my wife cut the eggs now. She has better luck when she cuts them. We get better odds. So
Oh yeah.
it's definitely a family
Yeah.
affair now, and
Yeah.
which is a lot of
I need
fun.
to borrow her sometimes then.
Yeah, you pay her up.
Yeah.
Come
It's
out
like, Mike,
for
can I
you.
borrow your wife, Mike?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mike, I want to going back from what you just mentioned earlier. I know you're a full-time firefighters, right? Am I right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I forget, big respect because like you guys, done a really good job. I don't know if you remember when we had that fire in Calabasas,
Yeah. I
that
wasn't.
like valley
Oh,
area. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
I cannot thank you, because like you guys, these firefighters, you guys work like 24 hours nonstop. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like never stop. So big respect for you guys.
I
Um,
appreciate it. We appreciate it very much.
yeah. Before I forget, so you keep mentioning the same thing, like to do your homework before get into this ball python. So
For
my
sure.
question is, how important it is to do your own research before buying ball python, because I know there's a lot of big that new people coming in
Mhm.
into these hobbies. They just randomly buying, or because maybe they watch these YouTube videos and then just like buying this ball python without doing any research or
Yeah.
knowing how to take care of them. So
Mhm.
going back to what you just said, how important it is to do the homework before buying this ball python.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, whatever
Mm-hmm.
animal you bring in, whether it's a ball python
Yeah.
or a puppy
Yeah.
or whatever, I think you should do
Right.
before having a baby. I think you
Mm-hmm.
should do some research and figure out
Yeah.
what the needs are.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so we actually put together like a little kind of like a what to ask list that we hand out to
To do list.
customers and
Okay.
stuff or potential
Okay.
customers. And it's like,
Okay.
hey, what to ask yourself to see if you're ready to buy. And you can substitute ball python or
Any
Great Dane or
animals? Yeah.
anything in it.
Anything. Yeah.
And it's like, hey,
Yeah.
are you ready to, what kind of housing it needs? Do you know what kind of feeding it needs? You know what kind of light or heating requirements? Do you have
Yeah.
these things in order?
Yeah.
And we freely give this information out. And
Yeah.
I'm very upfront to tell people, like, I don't like to give out advice, just over, say, social media. Like, I don't really um, give out like my opinions on things, a lot of things,
Yeah.
um, because there's so many different points of view and opinions on
Yeah.
what's the substrate you need. It
Yeah.
depends. I mean, it depends on who you
Yeah.
are. I mean, where you are, what kind of animals
Yeah.
you're keeping. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I use sandy chips for my adults. Some
Yeah.
people hate sandy chips because it doesn't hold humidity. I live 10 minutes from the beach. My humidity is fine generally.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no one way. And I tell people, I go, this is not rocket science. You could ask
Yes.
15 different breeders, and if you get 15 answers, you're doing pretty
Yeah.
good, because there are a lot of people who won't help you. It's a very good community, but there are those people
Mm-hmm.
who don't, unless you're buying from them, they don't want to help you. And
Yeah.
which I think is
Very
unfortunate,
true.
but
Yeah.
I think it's good because you get to form like your style. And like I said, when I asked a bunch of people and anyone who talked
Mm-hmm.
to me
Mm-hmm.
back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
I formed the way I do it, not off of one person. Like, I formed it off of, like, I talked to 10 different people, 15 different people, whatever, and it all went into, okay, I think this will be a good idea, you know? So I
Yeah.
think that the more research you do on your own, the better you have an understanding of what you're getting into. And so I do think it's
Yes.
very important to, because it's a life, no matter what. If it's a $5,000 snake or a $20 normal or a $25
Mm-hmm.
normal, it's a life,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and each one should be treated with
The
respect
same.
and
Yeah.
cared for exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just because it's a prettier animal doesn't mean it needs to be treated any better or different than a less expensive animal. So
Yeah.
doing your research really does set you up for success, and it sets the animal up, I think, for a better life.
Yeah. Do
So,
you agree that the most successful breeders are typically the nicest one, the one that always willing to, um, help you out without anything, in return,
I think
in general?
I think that's a good person in general.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if that makes them a better breeder or
Yeah.
just a good person. You know, um,
Right.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of people who produce some really amazing animals, and they're total
Mm-hmm.
jerks, and I'll never buy from them. You know,
Yeah. But
but
yeah.
then there's some people
Mm-hmm.
who are, small scale. They may produce some animals, but they're
Yeah.
just so willing to help you out.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of in between, right in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
I do my best to engage everybody, be a friendly face.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
bring Elvira. I know if you saw at the show, we bring Elvira out, especially to the shows, and
You're a
because I
female
like
pied, right?
the big girl, yeah, and
Yeah.
and I like people to have a good positive experience with these animals. The whole reason we bring
Yeah.
it yeah, it draws attention, but when we have
Mm-hmm.
a group of people sitting there, and you got all
Mm-hmm.
the people who are like reptile people are right up in front, and they got their friend way in the back. Like, it's not my thing. I like to get that person up and at least touch the animal. And 9 times out of 10, I swear to you, I get
Hmm.
them to hold that big girl. And it really is cool because a lot of times these people are either afraid for whatever reason, or
Yeah.
they're like not into it, and they at least have a little bit of a change of like, wow, this is actually pretty cool, And
Yeah.
I like that. I like being able to be a part of someone's good experience, And so we're
Right.
really big on that with the show, especially the show.
Yeah.
But where I engage people all the time in social media too, especially, I mean, mainly Instagram. Um,
Right.
and I talk to people all the time, all over the country, I mean, all over the world. It's
Yeah.
a very small world when you get Instagram, and I could talk to people for
Hmm.
all day if schedule permits, But
Of course.
I love answering questions. I love helping people out.
Right.
Does it make me a better breeder? No, I hope it just makes me a good person people want to talk to. And but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that it makes them a better breeder. I think it just makes them a good person. When they are friendly. You know.
Yeah. Um, I mean, like when I say successful, it doesn't mean like, they have like the most expensive project. So what I mean is like in general, they, are successful in pretty much any aspect, that they do in the hobby. So
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
necessarily like, like high volume breeders or you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of which, going back to what you just said, because I love when you mention about that, like one advice doesn't fit everybody because,
Right.
some might work for you, some might not. Because,
Hmm.
for examples, like me personally, as far as the substrate, I'm
Yeah.
using unprinted newspaper. And then,
Hmm.
like my idol, like Ozzy, he's using, that
Coconut,
cypress
right?
mulch. No, no, no. Yeah,
Oh,
cypress
cypress
mulch.
mulch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then I'm Justin, using like reptile chip. I don't use
Yeah.
them because I don't like them, So it doesn't mean like I like them as, like people that I look up to and I have to follow everything that they do. So
Right.
that's
No.
another thing too. So I love that you mentioned that part. Like that's right on point. I really
Yeah.
agree. So yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It's like, in my profession, like I modeled my career is modeled off
Hmm.
I mean, how many people I came in contact with and their bedside
Yeah.
manner versus how they do things as a paramedic, and like
Yeah.
it translates to all aspects. You don't just
Of course.
follow like one person because they are,
Hmm.
the head honcho in that thing, like in that profession or
Yeah.
whatever. You just, do what works for you. That's, I tell people, it's
Right.
not rocket science.
Yeah. Yeah.
People ask
Because
about,
in this hobby, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
oh, no, no, go ahead.
Yeah, because in this hobby, people, kind of like, for lack of the better word, they just blindly follow like everything that they see from other people's, right? And then the
For sure.
worst, thing is them, they love to blame on other people. So they don't
Oh yeah.
do
Yeah.
their homework, just like what you said. They just follow, right? They watch
Exactly.
that YouTube video, they follow whatever, and then if it didn't work, they blame it on their people. They go to
Oh, for sure.
forums, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I watched this YouTube video, blah blah blah. These people, and then it just on and on. The drama continues, right? That's probably
Oh
one of
yeah.
the things
Always.
that like I like to do this podcast because not really podcast. I look at it just like two friends, hanging out and talking about
Yeah, for sure.
reptiles. I
Yeah.
don't have any format. I don't have any like specific questions. I just talk.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
So
having chatting like we
yeah,
would have
because it's always
regular
good
conversation.
to, yeah. So it's always good to bring out like, this perspective, right? Because this is real people. So this is
Mhm.
not someone that hiding behind the lens, right? Or
No.
watch different YouTube videos and make their own. So this is like real conversation here. So
Hmm.
hopefully, people can learn, people can like understand like what's going on.
Hmm.
And then and then the good things about me is I don't really care about what other people say. I just do what like what I think is right. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, it comes down to that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I care if people think, oh, that guy's a jerk. I don't want that. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you think I'm if you think I'm a jerk, then you did something to earn the jerk mic, because it's not,
Yeah.
not a very common
Yeah.
sight. But
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
there's no need to, like, I don't know. It's just, you just don't blindly follow. I don't blindly follow just one way,
Yeah.
and that's it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like when I say like I don't really care, it doesn't mean that, like I have like disrespectful based on like what other people think. I just do
mhm.
like what I do,
Yeah,
obviously the right thing. But
yeah,
if people like it, that's great. If not, then it's their opinion,
yeah,
So I don't
yeah,
really kind of like get bothered by it. So yeah.
yeah. No, I have same way. Yeah, I like when I
Yeah.
tell people, if people ask me for advice, I say, hey, this works for me. And
Yeah.
it may or may not work for you. It might
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah.
and I said, but this, I had people. I posted a picture recently, and
Mhm.
I had a whole bunch of people. I mean, from some big
Mhm.
name breeders to, you know, just people who are just starting into it, and they're like, hey, what kind
Yeah.
of substrate is that? And I'm like, oh, it's sand chips. And they're like, oh, do you like it? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been using it for years. It works great for me. I haven't had any issues. And I give them
Mhm.
my perspective of that, so you can try it or don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just,
Right.
um, I always give people, my honest opinion of what I've tried, what I've done, what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, successes
Yeah.
and failures. Learning from people's successes and failures is key.
Right. That's very true. Um, Back to ball python
Hmm.
topic.
Yeah.
How many ball python do you have right now? Like when it comes to like breeders.
Breeder. Well, the main collection, I've probably got about 110,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. So
Okay.
not a huge collection. Definitely a big
Yeah.
collection for somebody who's, just
Yeah.
getting into it or
Yeah.
not liking snakes. It's like crazy. But it's manageable, which is what I want.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want it to be something where I'm like
Overwhelmed.
overworked, overdrawn, overspending
Mm-hmm.
on whatever. It's some I can afford it. I
Yeah.
can manage it. The
Yeah.
animals are healthy,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's it. That's all that's important to me. I don't care if I don't
Yeah.
breed a season or two or ever
Yeah.
again. I
Yeah.
mean, if I stop breeding, I'll sell some animals, but I'm not in like, the animals are not how I pay my mortgage. They're
Yeah.
the money that I sell from selling snakes just goes back into the animals for the most part,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something for family fun.
Yeah.
I've always looked at it as a hobby, and
Yeah.
that's how I want it to be. I don't want to come home from work to go back to work,
That's
but
very
I'm willing
true.
to
Yeah.
work and do the things that I need to help sustain my hobby and
Yeah.
the fun I get out of it.
Yeah.
So
To be honest with you, having a really, small and focused, collection, I'm talking about
mhm.
focus in like certain project, it much more beneficial in my opinion,
Oh yeah,
because I had so many, like animals before because, like I don't want to mention the name, but I followed the wrong person. But I
mm,
learned my lessons because before, like volume was the key, right? Because people
yeah,
love to brag how many they have before.
yeah,
But right now, I like to focus on like specific project, the one that I really want to focus on. And then to
right,
be honest with you, I make way more money focus on certain things than like going into like volume, because
for sure.
like in general, people always argue with me, right? Like, look at it this way: if you make, let's say, $100,000, right?
Hmm.
But you spend 90, it doesn't make sense because you spend 90 and then
Yeah,
you make 100,000. So technically, you only make 10.
yeah,
I would
hundred
rather
percent.
spend 10, make like 80. That's what I really
Mm-hmm.
want. So
Yeah,
it's completely different thing. But they do what they want to do. So I don't really focus on like what they think or they care about. So
yeah,
yeah, having that like specific like project, I think that's the best key. Just like
I
what
do
you said,
so.
you don't feel like overwhelmed. You enjoy it, as a hobby or as a
Hmm.
like side business or whatever it is. It's just
Right.
more, you know, like having fun instead of like like having another job. That's how I
Yeah.
felt before because I was so stressed out, and then like I mean I don't have a really good, like really smart employee. I
Yeah.
wish I did. Well, which is
Hmm.
kind of like a good thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I cut down, and then it became really, like so much work. So I didn't really enjoy it that much anymore before. So
Yeah.
yeah, I cut down my collections, and I just focus on the small things.
Yeah. If
Um,
I get to a point where I'm not enjoying it, I'm selling everything except
yeah,
Elvira. That girl will never be sold. But no, honestly, if I got to a point where I didn't enjoy it, or
yeah,
I was not able to afford it and I was neglecting my animals, no, I'm selling it, and I'm
yeah,
done with it. I don't want it
yeah,
to ever be that way. So yeah, a nice manageable number is a key thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. When did
Um,
you start breeding?
I start breeding. Okay, I've been doing this almost okay, like professionally. Well, I don't want to say professional, like a
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
run business. Let's just put it that way. Okay,
Uh huh.
um, it's gonna be going 11 years this year.
Okay.
So it's been
So
a while.
so
Yeah.
a little bit longer than me, but in our time in that,
Hmm.
you've seen so many come and go. Like so many
Oh
people
yeah,
buy a bunch of
many of
animals
them. Yeah.
and gone because they get
Yeah.
way too many animals. They get way too ahead of themselves. They get
Yes.
front loaded on males and not having females.
Yeah. Or
There's a
like
lot
vice versa.
of mistakes that
Yes.
um, I don't know, mistakes. They're learning opportunities.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But those things happen, and I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of people come and go. So
Yeah.
you get these. I get people who like I kind of help tutor, mentor, whatever, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
pump the brakes. Don't buy every good deal is not a good deal if it doesn't work for what you have a game plan for.
Very true. Yes.
And so I tell people, hey, I know you're excited. I know you're wanting to buy everything under the
Yeah.
sun, but what's it going to do for you in the long run? Like what's
Yes.
your game plan? What's your goal? And
Yes.
I like to make sure that people have a plan,
Hmm.
a plan of
Yeah.
attack, or you
Yeah.
know, just something, you know, at least an idea of what they want to do.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
it's that's one that it always irks me. It's like there's a pet peeve or whatever because
Yeah.
it's like learn from mistakes that people have made.
Yeah.
That, yeah, but there's a lot that goes into it. It's simple, but there is a lot
Yeah.
to think about.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like the whole structure about starting these hobbies or like small business, what like whatever that you want to call it, it's not that hard to be honest with you. Just like what you said, it's
no,
not rocket science. You just
yeah,
need patience, which is not anybody. Like no one has this because they just want to go to the top like right away. I get it.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
think that there's like there is a possibility to do that. Obviously, we've seen there's a bunch of people out there that can come out and have extreme success right off the bat. That's not
Mhm.
the average person.
Yeah.
That level of success
Mhm.
right now, like I want
Yeah.
to do it and I want to do it right now. That takes
Mhm.
some financial you know backing that not everybody has. And so you see these
Right.
people with like these grand ideas of like, I want to make these 7 gene visual pie clown combos, and you're like, what do you have at home? Oh, I have a pastel male. Okay. We've got some work to do, and there's
Mm.
there's um, it's not just like that unless you have the financial ability
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
It's okay to take different paths. Um,
Yeah.
One thing that these some of these bigger time breeder guys and guys who are having this immediate success, they have passion along with the money. They have some passion,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think that's what, if you're going to model yourself after a YouTube, uh, like Miguel is a great example. That he's a buddy of mine, and he's had
Yeah.
some amazing success. He's
Yeah.
got a good financial
Yeah.
backing to do it, but he's
Mhm.
also got a lot of passion about what he does.
Yeah.
So like or dislike the guy, I love the guy,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
but he's an example that a lot of people want to follow, and they're like, I want to make what he made. Well, it takes some money to get to that right now,
Yeah.
or you can
Yeah.
building block it up there and eventually make it. Um,
Right.
but as long as you have that passion, like he does,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what you should model yourself after.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Even, like, in my opinion, even though if you have that, financial backup, right? I think it's always good to have a really solid, basic foundation as well, because
Oh, for sure.
I understand you can always buy, like all of these high-end project like right off the
Hmm.
bat. That's true. But if you don't have that, like solid foundation to structure your collection, you're gonna fall apart,
Oh,
because
100%. Yeah.
I've seen like so many things, and then it's really hard for me to say this and that sometimes because like all of these new, like new people. I mean, these are all like all my friends. I like them like all of them.
Hmm.
Like they're just like my friends. But it's really hard sometimes to kind of like, well, not convince them, but to share, like, like all my mistakes, right? Because at the end
Oh,
of the day,
yeah.
I don't want them to make the same thing too. But
Hmm.
their perspective is always like, you know, I always have this two type of response. First is, well, the first one is they always like feel, they feel like I don't want them to get to my, like my level. It's just-
Right.
they
Yeah.
always say
You're
like,
the
of course you don't
competition.
want me. Exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like it's not like that because I don't want them to fail. Like
Right.
learn
Yeah.
like from my mistakes. I bought a lot of things before, and then it was just chaos.
Hmm.
So I end up cutting down my collections and then just focus on like certain things, and
Yeah.
then and another side that they listen but they just don't have the patience because they see all of these people producing these cool combos. They want
Right.
to
Yeah.
be that first one, right?
Right. Yeah. And
So yeah.
they're like, I don't want to get behind. Yeah. I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be behind on the project.
Yeah.
Everyone starts
Yeah.
somewhere, man.
Yeah,
You know.
which is fine. Well, that's the fun of it, right? I mean, if you're
Hmm.
able, do whatever you want because at the end of the day, this is your, your animals. I mean, you do whatever
Yeah.
you want with them, But
Hmm. Yeah.
don't come to me when you having problems and you fail, and you be like, oh yeah, Chris, you're right. I mean, it's already too late.
Yeah. It's like one of my, I guess, I don't know, top few things of advice always is plan ahead. And I use my
Yeah.
buddy as an example.
Mm-hmm.
He was starting to get into snakes. He was all excited about the ones I had. He was wanting to get into it,
Yeah.
and like I went with him to buy his first snake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then then he bought another one, and so he's like, "Hey, I want to build a rack system." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And
Yeah.
so I help him build, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Should I do 5 or 10 level?" I'm like, "Well, you're gonna get more snakes." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, then do 10." He's like, "Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna do 5." Okay, cool. Within a month and a half, the guy had 7 snakes, and I joke with him all the time, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Uh-huh.
I guess I should have given you that advice to I just jab at him, like I should have told you to think ahead. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that people don't do is
Yeah.
plan ahead. You know,
Yeah.
what you want now is not necessarily what you want in 2 years. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's another thing too. Also, that people buy like animals or like these high-end things just to have that the ability to say to others like, yes, I do have it. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
they do
it's
not know
bragging
what
rights. Yeah,
they're
yeah,
gonna do with that. Yeah, so they just love to take pictures and then bragging about it, and that's it.
yeah.
So
And
which is fine. I mean, it's good for the hobby. Hmm? I'm
if
sorry. Go
you're
ahead.
just collecting or you're just wanting pretty animals, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you want to breed, you know,
Yeah.
having 10 males and 1 female is not really conducive to
Ideal.
doing that. And so,
Yeah.
and you see that happen a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. What project that you working on right now, Mike?
Hides obviously is
Yeah.
my biggest project.
Okay.
A lot of different pied projects, hybrid pied stuff. I got some super gravel het pieds this year that were awesome hit.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of big into that. A lot of Orange Dream stuff. I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to start doing a lot Orange Dream pied stuff. Um,
Okay.
I'd like to really start hitting some hypopide combos. That was
Okay.
actually a project that I wanted to do like 6 or 7 years ago, and I got talked out of it by my mentor. I think
Okay.
he thought I was going to be in and out of the hobby like so many others that
Okay.
he's like, nah, maybe you should try something else. Maybe
Mhm.
do a different pairing. And I keep
Mhm.
myself every day because I'm still here. And I mean, I would have had some amazing hypopide stuff, you know, from
Uh-huh.
early on in
Mhm.
that project, you know. But
Mhm.
it's like growing. It's been a popular one, especially this last year.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
damn it, never again. But uh, Pied obviously is my biggest portion of my collection, along with like yellow belly stuff. I have a
Okay.
lot of yellow belly combos or that whole complex. So
Yeah.
Spark Gene, Spectre Gene, um, obviously the gravel stuff,
Yeah.
and just trying to merge them all, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want them to be clear. Like I want to be able to look at an animal and say this and this and this is what's here. Like I
Yes.
don't like when you get those animals that you can't like, you know, like, oh, it's
ID.
7 genes. You're like, it's solid white. Like, how do you know that? You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Yeah.
you're dealing with super form to super form to super form, you know, like I want to be able to
Yeah.
clearly tell you this is what it is with 100% guarantee.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, it's you're on the benefiting side. Like I'm
Yes.
underselling it as opposed to overselling it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I do have some cool stuff for clown. I don't have a lot of clown stuff, but
Mhm.
I've got a couple nice girls, and then I just bought a nice um, Cypress combo clown boy.
Okay.
There's a
Okay.
Cypress spot nose, cinnamon possible fire het clown. So he's got a lot
Mm.
there, but
Yeah. Oh, that's the one that you sent a picture to me, right?
yeah,
Is it
yeah.
the same one? Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
hmm He's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need him to
Yeah.
grow, you know. But
Right.
I've never been as passionate about clown. I like clown,
Okay. Okay.
but I've never been as passionate about it as I am pied. You know,
Yeah.
um, but that's what
Yeah.
makes this hobby and this ball python thing so great. Is like there's
Yeah.
every flavor out there. You know, there's
Yes.
just about
Yeah.
every color pattern you
Yeah.
want. You know, and
Right.
ways to mix them. You know, so
Yeah.
makes it a lot of fun. So,
Yeah. Do you work with chocolate project? I know John is working on it, right?
Jonathan,
Yeah.
yeah, they've got some. I had
Mhm.
a clown girl I was going to put in the group with Jonathan and Adam, and then I pulled her to.
Yeah.
I ended up putting her with a pastel caramel desert ghost boy instead. So I made some triple heads. Again,
Okay.
thinking down the road, I decided to do that instead.
Yeah.
Um, but I have chocolate pied. I
Okay.
like chocolate a lot. I like chocolate for quite a while. I just don't have a lot of it. You know, I have
Yeah.
just mainly the one chocolate pie for right now. But
Yeah.
he's not being real aggressive on the breeding. So
Okay.
um, it is something that's a less common one. So I kind of like that aspect, the fact that he's
Yeah.
not something you see every day. So
Yeah.
um,
If you guys ever produce a super gravel, super chocolate pie, let me know. I will buy it from you guys.
yeah, we'll call it the Rocky Road.
Ah, yeah. I think we talk about this like back in Pomona, right? Like last Pomona's like few years back or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've had
Yeah.
I mean we've had conversations back and forth, and there's always the part of the fun is naming that one combo that maybe that other people haven't done or whatever. And,
Right.
years ago, I don't know that it was the first ever, but I mean I have a hard time
Mhm.
believing it was. But like I made a
Mhm.
banana savannah, and I just thought it was so cool to call it that, And so I'm like, oh yeah, well, the name of that it was Savannah was already there, and it was tacked on banana. It wasn't like crazy,
Yeah.
but it was just, part of that fun little, playful thing.
Yeah.
You're kind of celebrate a little accomplishment in the hobby. So get a
Right.
picture on World of Ball Pythons. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
one goal achieved.
Yeah. Speaking about goal, what is next for you? What is next for Mike Porter's Python? So
Um,
let's say if we talk again in 5 years from today,
oh,
what will
hmm
be like what will be I'm talking about,
yeah,
like what
I
will
would.
be hmm
Well, let's see. My daughter will be 6, so just being the best dad I can.
right,
Um,
of course.
that's the biggest thing for me now.
hmm
But as far as if we're talking snakes,
hmm
hopefully some really cool pied and double and triple recessive combos. I think
okay.
that those are really the future of this whole game. Is
Yeah.
starting to stack those recessives. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone can buy, a couple 2 or 3 gene animal, codoms
hmm
and pair them and make 4 or 5 gene, animals that are gorgeous. But
hmm
that if you're looking at it from a market aspect, those things, the prices all go down. But what
yeah.
holds a little bit better because of the generations it takes to achieve them is those recessives. And so I think that you're seeing a lot of people working on double, triple recessives and beyond. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those evolutions of the whole hobby. It's just to do that. five
Yeah.
years,
Keep moving
I'll
forward.
still be
Yeah.
working, so
Yeah.
I won't be venturing into other species yet. I did buy
Okay.
what was supposed to be a pair of King and Sambos, and I ended up getting a 2 girls. So I was like, why am I not getting any babies? So I did have. That's my only venture into other species for breeding. But
Right.
yeah, I'd like to get some other animals, down the
hmm
road.
hmm
But with my work schedule, especially in the summertime, man,
hmm
if I have to, like, I can call Jonathan up, 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
text him in the morning, hey,
Right.
hey, dude, I'm getting sent up north to go to a fire, and he comes over, checks on the animals, pulls eggs,
Yeah.
cuts eggs,
Yeah.
whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
I got you, and he's
Yeah.
it's been amazing to have that
Yeah.
buddy you can trust to come in and
Yeah.
take care of things.
Yeah.
But to say, oh, I have this species and this species that needs this and this one that needs that and this one that needs
Yeah.
that, and
So many
I
things
stopped
going
doing
on.
I
Yeah.
stopped breeding I stopped breeding my own rats back then because I was like, hey, can you take care of the rats too? Like, that's too much. So until I
Yeah.
retire, I don't think I'll really venture into a lot of other snakes like ball pythons and like the Kenyans.
hmm
They pretty much have very similar in the needs
hmm
needs department. So um,
Right.
that was an okay transition for me to buy something a little new. Um, but even
Right.
that, I got a pair. It looks like a pied to me, so that's kind of what pushed me to get to those guys. They're kind of cool, little goofy looking
Right.
snakes, but they are cool. So
Yeah.
yeah. So but yeah, it's just I would say 5 years. Hopefully, being a great dad and
hmm
uh, yeah, multiple gene
Yeah.
recessives. That'd be the name of the game. So
Right.
some super gravel, hypo pied,
Bye.
whatever. I don't know.
Right. Um, I have this question. So,
hmm
share with us that Zach Foundation or something like that that you do like
So
every
okay,
years,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
all right, thanks for bringing that up. Actually,
Yeah.
so Zach, I worked for 5 years in the ER with Zach's mom, and along
Okay.
with doing the snakes in the fire department, I do triathlons.
Okay.
And I came back from a triathlon, told her, I go, talking to Zach's mom, um, hey, no desire to ever do a triathlon again. It was miserable. I got cramped up really bad. It was like I wanted to sell my bike. It was horrible. I never wanted to do another one. So I tell her all
Okay.
about this, and she's like, "Oh, I have a triathlon you can do." And
Mm.
I'm like, "No, you're not listening to me," you know. And
Uh-huh.
she she tells me about the Challenge Athletes Foundation, and um, so it's an organization that it's a charity based out of San Diego, and they provide
Okay.
grants for athletes who need prosthetics or wheelchairs or um,
Okay.
any kind of like wounded veterans, blind athletes, whatever these athletes need, they get
Okay.
grants through Challenge Athlete Foundation. Well,
Okay.
Lauren's son, Zach,
Mhm.
is who
Mhm.
we do this whole thing for.
Okay.
At 18 months, became a double amputee. He was born with
Okay.
what's called TAR syndrome, and
Okay.
it usually affects your upper extremities and platelets.
Okay.
So there's no radius bone in their arms, so her
Okay.
arms are a little bit have some deformity and lack
Okay.
of function. And on top of that, he had disformed legs that needed to be amputated. And being a nurse, she's like, hey, very medically educated. She's like, this gives him the best opportunity to learn how to use the prosthetics leg when he's
Right.
learned how to walk anyways. And
Mhm.
so I ended up signing up to do this triathlon, and it's a fundraiser. And so we raise money
Mhm.
on behalf of Team Zach. But all the money goes
Mhm.
to the Challenge Athletes Foundation.
Okay.
Nothing goes directly to Zach.
Okay.
And although insurance covers, regular walking prosthetics, like if
Yeah.
he wants to play sports or
Yeah.
run or surf or whatever,
Mhm.
that's not what they cover. And so through over the past couple of years, I guess
Okay.
I've been doing it for 5 years now.
Mhm.
Zach finally got a grant to get some little running prosthetics, and it's just been awesome. He gets to go to these clinics, mobility clinics, and meet new friends, and he's been surfing and swimming and doing all these things with the Challenge Athletes Foundation. So
Okay.
backpedal like 3 years ago, because it's a fundraiser.
Mhm. Yeah.
Before I used to just say, hey, dad, mom, whoever, buddies at work, hey, do you want to sponsor me while I do this triathlon? Cool, make a little bit of money. All goes to
Okay.
that. Well, 3 years ago, I
Mhm.
decided, hey, I'm going to use social media, and I'm going to put I'm going to do like basically a drawing, like a auction or a raffle, and I raffled
Okay.
off a snake, and
Okay.
all that money was going to go directly to Challenge Athletes Foundation. And
Okay.
so then I had a couple other people join in. Other buddies were like, hey, can we join in? Can we join in? Can we join in? And I'm
Yeah.
like, before I knew it, I had like 5 or 6 animals, 8 animals. And actually, Miguel was like, hey, why don't you do an auction, and we'll host it on his page? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we raised, a couple $1,000, or
Okay.
like $3,500, something like that,
Okay.
all straight to the Challenge Athletes Foundation. And
Okay.
we auctioned off like 19 animals. And then the next year, we did
Okay.
like 32 animals. And so
Okay.
each year it's kind of grown. And to the point where, like these last 2 years, we've done like almost $8,500
Okay.
for the on behalf of Team Zach, and so we do that, and it's awesome. I get to incorporate doing the triathlons, talking and selling the snakes, which we all love, and it gets
Yeah.
this whole community involved. I mean, it even to the day of the auctions now, like I'm turning
Mhm.
down people because I'm like, we have too many animals. We have too many animals to. We're gonna have an 8-hour auction if we don't cut this down. And as is, we have a live YouTube auction for
Yeah.
like 2.5, almost 3 hours. And people stay on,
Right.
and they look and they love it. And people get a
Mm.
kick out of it. They love Zach and they love supporting it. And,
Mhm.
I do my best to document it all. When we do
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fundraiser and
Yeah.
the race itself, and
Yeah.
he's an awesome little kid. I don't know, you didn't meet him because he was there Saturday. He got a bearded
Okay.
dragon for his first reptile,
Oh. Okay.
and it's just the joy on this kid's face. Like, he's unbelievable. So That's Zach. That's
Okay.
Team Zach. You know, and that's what that's all about.
Okay. So if people want to donate or they want to get involved, how
Hmm.
can they do that?
So obviously they can follow my page, and then generally in um, late July, August, I start kind of ramping up and advertising that we're
Okay.
going to do the auction. And I've got
Okay.
a bunch of repeat, breeders that have, donated over the past, 3 years, that will
Okay.
donate again. And then I always
Okay.
get people who are like, "Hey, when can we do this?" So I'll probably July, I'll start to, to start throwing out, the information that we're getting ready to
Okay.
do the auction again. I'll have
Yeah.
another animal up on the. I guess we got to call it chance to win, as opposed to
Okay.
a raffle anymore. But
Yeah.
so there'll be a chance to win, and all that money
Mm-hmm.
goes directly to Challenge Athletes Foundation. When we do the auction, it
Okay.
all comes to me, and then that way I
Mm-hmm.
can pay for all the shipping, and then all the remaining money goes to the Challenge Athletes Foundation. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, just follow us on Instagram at Portage
Okay.
Pythons, and then or if they, I mean, Challenge Athletes Foundation is they're an everyday thing. So if they wanted to go directly and just donate to Challenge Athletes Foundation too, by
Okay.
all means they can do that. But if they want to support Zach and Team Zach, like we do,
Mm-hmm.
that's just our, you know, he's the one who's near and dear to my heart. He's
Right.
basically my nephew. And
Right.
so that's the one I support. And so yeah, probably July we'll start throwing out the information of what we have. It always tough because I got to wait until I have babies to know what I'm gonna to auction off, and usually
Right.
I don't start getting them until like June. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't like say I'm gonna raffle this off right now if I don't know what I'm gonna have on hand. So
Right.
yeah, just follow
Yeah.
us, and you can't miss it because we do it up
Okay.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Instead
thanks
of
for asking.
doing Yeah, instead of doing that live auction because it take a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time and work too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you guys can have like a page, right, and then put like all the picture, the
Mm-hmm.
animals that are gonna be auctioned off, and
Yeah.
then everybody that interested they can make them comments. So the
Yep.
highest bid, then you just take that as the winners because so you
Yeah.
don't have to technically run it like the whole 32 animals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, but we have a lot of fun. Honestly,
Right. Yeah.
it's cool because we do it live, and literally you'll see Robert like this last one.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch it, because Intelligent Design Reptiles hosted it, or
Okay.
we ran it on their
Mm-hmm.
page.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Logan, right? He's a
Yeah.
little computer
I
whiz,
think so.
which I am obviously not. So he had us all done, and I was
Right.
bidding on an animal, which
Mm-hmm.
all live, and so we're going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm showing the animal, so I have my wife bidding for me, and then as soon as like my thing would pop up on the thing
Mm-hmm.
on the conversation, you'd
Mm-hmm.
see Robert behind me hit
Mm-hmm.
send, and his bid would pop up. So there was kind of this back and forth and playful,
So it's so much fun. Yeah.
banter, and so it kind of just brings it all. I like the family feel and the bringing everyone to Team Zach. I like that
Right.
aspect. So I the way you're suggesting is probably way easier, but
Yeah.
I think we'll probably still do the hard route, is
Yeah.
just to have the
Yeah.
fun, because
Because
we do have a good
when
time
you
together.
have like that page, right? I mean, you can
Mhm.
still do it live, but you don't have to like maintain it like one by one
Oh
because there's like so many
yeah,
things. From
that's
like 8 hours, you can cut it down for like 2 hours probably. Easy.
yeah, that actually might not be a bad idea. We could put
Yeah.
them all up, and then
Yeah.
whatever we get to
Yeah. So all the
when it
bid
goes
you can
live,
see it. Yeah.
we can start with whatever that highest bid is,
Yeah.
and then maybe cut. Okay,
Makes
maybe we
sense, right?
hybrid this whole idea here,
Yeah.
because that's
And you can
cool.
stream it. And the best
Yeah.
part is you don't need like one person to stream it. You can have like all the breeders. I mean, I can stream it too because it's
Oh
one
yeah.
page. So everybody can go there
Okay.
and then they can
Yeah.
see it like live when people like bid on it. Well, not bid technically. Just put like comments, right? Let's say $20,
Right.
$30, $40. You can see it
Yeah.
like live.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
talk about
much
this
easier.
more before we'll
Yeah,
work out the logistics. But this
yeah.
last
So it's
one, man,
July, right? Yeah, right before summer. Well, it is summer
yeah, we
technically.
usually do it the end of September is the
Oh, okay,
auction because we have a
okay,
deadline. Like I said, it's a fundraiser, and they'll take money every day of the year. But to do our there's like a team competition, and so
oh,
to
okay,
raise money for Team Zach to get the credit for
okay,
it, it has to be in by October 1st. So we usually like do it like the last week of or like the last few days of September, and we have like
okay.
3 or 4 days to get those payments
Yeah,
in and then set it off. So that's how we've done it in
right.
the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I like combining your idea of maybe listing them and then getting
Yeah,
that at least
yeah,
figuring out what the opening bid is because some of these
yeah,
animals, man, they go for so cheap, and
yeah.
we do stress in the beginning like, hey, this is for a charity. This isn't just I need to sell my
Mm-hmm.
collection and I'm just auctioning off whatever goes. Like this is
Yeah,
it's a fundraiser for a very good cause, and so
yeah, yeah.
and then
The
what
good thing
happens is
is,
we get other people supporting us, and then we
yeah,
in turn support all their fundraisers. There's other auctions. There's
yeah,
fundraisers selling shirts or equipment or whatever. So
yeah,
it's a good thing. It's a good way to tie this whole community together. It really is
yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. Because the good thing is, if you lay out all the animals that are available for the auction, like right off the bat, so people
Mhm.
can kind of like well aware what they want, right?
Yeah,
I-
we
Instead of
usually
like waiting
do.
like one by one, one by
We
one.
usually do try to put out a list of
Oh, okay,
what's available, and we usually
okay,
between myself or Logan's page, we'll put out
okay.
or on this last one it was myself and Logan. We'll put
Mhm,
out here's what's going to be available, and
mhm.
every once in a while there's a little one that gets squeaked in there because there's another one added, and it throws everyone for a little like, whoa, this was supposed to be the next one. We're like, okay, well, kind of we're winging this. We're doing it on the fly. It's not like
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
it's not never perfect, and I think that
yeah,
kind of brings to the enjoyment of it for everybody. We're it's
yeah,
usually a little bit rough on the
yeah,
start, but
yeah.
this last one, man, Logan came in big time to save our
Mhm.
butts because we were originally supposed to do it with Miguel again, and he had a scheduling
Okay.
conflict like last minute. And we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And Logan from Intelligent Design, man, him and
Yeah.
between him and my wife and excuse me, Jonathan and
Mhm.
Robert from
Mhm.
they all rallied and made it
Yeah.
happen, made it work out, and
Yeah.
it was great. We had a good time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the aspect that I like I love about this hobby because like we all connected and then get to
Mhm.
know each other just because for a simple ball python.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we can do more than just a hobby. We can help other people too. And then like me personally, um, I don't like to, kind of like mention it because I don't like to brag, but I have a small foundation for kids too.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mainly support, what is the name of the website? Pencilofpromise.com. So
Hmm.
you can go there. So we built school in like Africa and then helping all of these abandoned kids. And
Oh
then,
nice.
yeah, because, for me, kids, they have futures, right? They have
Hmm.
opportunities, and then I mean they don't choose their life to be that way, because
Yeah.
they don't have the option. So
Hmm.
that's probably one of the reason I like to focus on kids, and then yeah, just for me, they have a much better future than helping. I'm not saying that I'm kind of like prejudiced about like other people's and then kids and things like that, but I just feel like kids have more potentials and then have more futures and then they don't choose the life that they're living in, right? But
Yeah.
adult,
Yeah.
you can always make like choices. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah.
No, that's
To
awesome.
yeah. To wrap up, because I don't want to, like hold you like, for so long because I know it's like family times and then, you probably want to
Right.
spend the time with your kids.
That's
Before
gonna
we
be
end
dinner.
this, right? Last question.
Yes.
Um, if someone asks me, right, what do you think about Mike Porter? what do
Hmm.
you want people to know you of, or like remember you, or like what do you want to be known? So let's say if someone
Yeah,
asks me what what do you want me to tell them? Well, not that like force me to say these things, but
yeah, yeah.
what do you want people to remember you,
Well, I hope people would remember
to
me
know
for
you?
being helpful and honest.
Yeah.
Definitely not pushy for talking about
Are you?
snakes. Like I'm not a pushy guy when it comes to sailing. Um,
Okay.
I just helpful. Like I will answer
Mm.
any question. I don't care who it is, what it
Yeah.
is. If you're
Yeah.
gonna buy from me or not,
Yeah.
I'm here to help. I'm definitely passionate about this hobby, and
Yeah.
I think that would be probably some good good things to say. I guess you don't have to, but I think that I definitely am passionate about it, and I like to share
Okay.
this hobby and the passion that I have,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
because it's great.
Yeah.
It's how you and I met, and it's how I've met a lot of people
Yeah.
of all different walks of life,
Yeah.
it's great. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
honest and passionate would be good. You got nice pies, you could say that. I don't care, whatever.
Like a cool pipe projects.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that'd be
Okay.
good. Definitely a family guy too. You could say
Yeah.
that too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Before we wrap this, that I actually have a few buyers that mentioned about you.
oh yeah.
They're like really new, and then they told me that, because I always have my staff ask them whether if they know like the basic like husbandry,
Hmm.
because I'm really worried when they started to spend like more than $1,000.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, do
yeah.
you know what you're doing? And then they always mention about you. Well, not always, but like two or three of them, including you know what is her name? Adams and Ellie,
Nidra.
those kids.
Yeah,
Nidra, yeah, Nidra and
yeah.
Kevin, yeah, yeah. So they
I
actually
sold them their
learn
first
something from
snake
you.
at
Yeah,
ReptileCon one year,
yeah.
and now I'm Uncle Mike. And it's awesome. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
so passionate. They're a fun little
yeah,
family and so cute. And
yeah,
um,
yeah.
they're
They're
great.
really nice people too. Yeah,
Yeah, um,
yeah.
they're very
And
passionate about
you
what they
gave
do.
them, right? You gave them like a pair of ball python for them to start breeding, right?
Yeah, I sold them a simple an albino and and a big normal head albino female.
Yeah, for them to
I mean,
start.
I'm a sentimental guy. This was
Okay.
my first project that I bought. When I first,
Okay.
I had my pastel belly and a couple other animals, but when I first
Yeah.
bought an
Uh huh.
established project, it was
Okay.
a proven breeder albino male and some big normal het girls. They were, they did great for me, but it was time to, go ahead and move on. And I knew that they could get them breeding, so that'll be their first. They've got their first locks out of them, and so yeah, it means a lot to me. I told them, hey, if you get out of this and you don't want them, I need to get them back.
Read them.
Because I am a little bit sentimental when it comes to some of these
Sentimental.
animals,
Okay.
so it does make it hard to get rid of some.
Yeah.
But I've
Yeah.
got some that they're just gonna live out their lives, as pets.
Yeah.
Like they'll never breed again. But it's like, I can't get rid of my first one. I can't get rid of my
Yeah.
first female. I can't get rid.
Right.
But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much for the time. I had so much fun. So, it's always nice
Absolutely.
talking to you, like meeting you. Um, when is your next show? The one in San Diego? Just to go there,
No,
right?
not
You're
gonna be
not gonna
San Diego.
funding?
It'll
Oh no.
be
Okay.
Pomona,
Okay.
August
So
or
next
whatever it is.
October.
Yeah,
October, right?
I think it's August. I think Pomona's usually
August.
August.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be the next one. Just like I said, I don't typically start getting them until June, anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're not ready for the
Okay.
San Diego show, and I just like to go
Yeah.
that one. It's fun.
Yeah.
But probably that one. That would be
Okay.
my guess.
Yeah.
At
And
least that's the next planned one.
okay. Yeah. So next, Pomona, um, keep me posted on that Zach, project. Well, that
Awesome.
foundation. So
I
I
will.
would like to get the info. I'm probably gonna, like have some animals or something like that, or
I will.
just
I will
donate it.
take them all.
They're
I will.
non-profit, right? A foundation
Yeah,
or
Challenge
no?
Athletes Foundation is a nonprofit organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they are based
I'll
in
I'll
San
send
Diego,
you
you said?
I'll send you information on
Oh,
them too.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
So I
okay.
do appreciate that, and
Yeah,
appreciate the time. Appreciate the interview. I'm glad we could
yeah.
finally
All
do
right,
it.
Mike. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night and say hi to your family. Thank you so much, Mike.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Talk to you
Okay, take
later.
care.
Bye.
You too.